Hello, my dear children. Grade 7 Geography. You are warmly welcome to this video lesson. Grade 7. We are going to study about a very interesting lesson. It is about our country, Sri Lanka. The landscape of Sri Lanka. Okay, what is the meaning of the landscape? It is about different physical features on the land. Different physical features on the land. So we are going to talk about different physical features. So this is a mountain. You can see here maybe a lake or a small stream. Then you can see a plain like a plateau. Then you can see some plains. There are different physical features. What are the different physical features which can be seen on the land of Sri Lanka? There are hills, that means mountains, rivers, streams, high, tall mountains with plain lands, plateaus, points, heads, lagoons, bays, sometimes waterfalls, passes or gaps. There are different types of physical features on the land. They are called the landscape of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a very nice, very beautiful island which is located in the Indian Ocean, little above the equator. Little above the equator. This is the equator. Here you can see Sri Lanka. Little above the equator. It is in the tropical zone. Tropical zone. That's why Sri Lanka has the sunshine throughout the year. Sri Lanka gets rains throughout the year. We have cold and hot, dry and wet together in the same climate. We are very lucky. Then, my children, Sri Lanka has number of different landscapes. Number of different landscapes. First one, we have a very nice beach that is called coastal region, coastal area, coastal belt. Verulabida Kalapaya, the coastal area. Verulabida Kalapaya. There are different particular landscape features. Then we can see countryside inside the country, like Anuradhapura, countryside, like Kataragama, countryside landscape. It is called intermediate plains. In Sinhala, it is called Abhyantara Kalapaya. Thirdly, we can see the hilly region, the Central Hills and Sabaragamu Hills. The hilly area, there are mountains. And we are going to talk about the dry zone, about the wet zone, as well as we talk especially about Jaffna region. So you understood different parts of landscape in Sri Lanka. Now we are going to start the lesson. My dear children, this is a very nice lesson for you. You can improve the knowledge about Sri Lanka with number of parts of the lesson. Now you can see the lesson nicely. Actually, we can see different parts like that. So I'm talking about the landscape of Sri Lanka now one by one. Here, the landscape in the Jaffna Peninsula and surrounding the islands. Surrounding the islands. What the peninsula? It is a land which is covered by water. Only three sides are covered by water. A land which is three sides are covered by water is called a peninsula. Here you can see the landscape in the coastal region. Then you can see the landscape of the dry zone Putte. From Hambantota to Puttalam here, Mana. Then you can see the wet zone. This part is wet zone. So you can see the countryside, the central parts, hilly regions. This is the lesson that you are going to learn. Right. What is the landscape? So we have to talk about the real definition of it. The different shapes. I drew those different shapes on the board to let you understand the different shapes and geographical features of the land. That's all. Okay. Under that, we are going to learn the first one. It is the landscape of the hilly region. What is the hilly region? Hilly means with a mountain areas. The hilly region is formed with two parts. The central hills, Kandy, Nuwara Matale, the central hills plus Sabaragamuwa hills, Ratnapura part, Sabaragamuwa hills. Then that is called, my dear, hilly region, hilly area. Right. So you can see different landscape there. You can see plateaus. Sanu plateaus. It is a tall mountain with a flat summit. It is called plateau. Plateau, plateaus. What are the plateaus which are seen in Sri Lanka, found in Sri Lanka? You can find the names of them. We are going to find the names of the plateaus. Then you can see the mountain ranges. There are a number of mountain ranges. As well as you can see number of caps and waterfalls. Right, okay? Now, my children, we are going to learn those different parts. Now you can see the Kandy Plateau, okay? And you can see the Valimad Plateau, Hatton Plateau, Horton Plateau, Mahawala Plateau, Koslanda Plateau. So I told you the names of those plateaus which are found in the hilly region. So I showed you what a plateau is. A plateau is a tall mountain with a plain summit. You can see the top is plain, flat. Kandy Plateau, Valimad Plateau, Hatton Plateau, Horton Plateau, Mahawala Plateau, and Koslanda Plateau. My dear children, you have to find where they are. The locations are very important. Look at the locations very well. The Kandy Plateau is in the middle. Okay, Pute? Right. Then, my children, I'm going to talk about the mountain ranges. The mountain ranges means there are a number of mountain peaks together. Not a one mountain like this. So we can see one hill, another one. We can see 2, 3 hills in the line. There are several peaks. This is called a mountain range. Kandu Vatiya. It is actually elongated mountain. It is going elongated. What are the mountains which are found in Sri Lanka? First one, Piduru Talagala. The height is 24 meters, 2,500 24 meters. What are the mountain ranges? Piduruthalagala. Okay, Pute. Then Totapola, Adams Peak, that means Sripada Mountain, Kirigalpotta, Haputale, Lunugala, Namunukala, Knuckles, and Dolosbagi. Ragala, there are a number of mountain ranges. Tell again the names of them. Piduruthalagala, Adams Peak, Totapola, Kirigalpotta, Ragala, Knuckles, Lunugala, Namunukula, and Naputala. So there are the heights also. You can find the heights from the map which I have provided with the lesson. Then Pute, you can see the waterfalls. Here waterfalls. The waterfalls. Sri Lanka is very famous for waterfalls, though it is a small country. So there are a number of waterfalls. Dunginda waterfall, Ravana Falls, Diyaluma Falls, Bamarakanda Falls, the highest one in Sri Lanka. Bakers Falls, Devon Falls, Lakshmana Falls, Aberdeen Falls, Rambuda Falls. There are a number of falls. Diyaluma, Dunginda, Rambuda, hotels, Bamarakanda, Bakers Falls, Lakshmana, Devon, Aberdeen, St. Clair's. There are many waterfalls. And there are gaps, passes. There is a road between two mountains. There is a pass or gap. There are a number of gaps. I am going to tell you the examples of them. Right? Okay. So you have to learn about them properly, my dear. So you can learn them properly. So I am going to talk about them nicely with you. Right. Now I am going to explain you about the hilly area. What is the hilly area? We know that from 0 to 30 meters. From 30 meters to 300 meters. From 300 meters to above 300 meters. Above 300 meters. Above 300 meters. What is this? From 0 to 300 meters, they belong to the coastal area. They belong to the coastal area. From 30 to 300 meters, the intermediate plains. Above 300 meters, that means around 1000 feet. Around 1000 feet, more than 1000 feet, 2000 feet, 3000 feet, 5000 feet, like that. Piduruthalagala's height, 2524 meters, 24 meters. How many feet there in the height? Around 6000. Then you can see this is the mountain area above 300 meters. Above 300 meters belong to the mountain areas. Now, my dear children, we are going to talk about the main features of that. Okay, the areas which are located 300 meters above the sea level. Tell again, Pute. The areas which are located above 300 meters. Understand? Above the 300 meters or 300 meters above the sea level. They are called hilly areas, hilly regions. The hilly region is made or formed with two areas, the central hills and the Sabaragamu hills. The central hills and the Sabaragamu hills. I am going to talk about the locations, the videos, about the place. You have to teach those things in a very nice video lesson from next video lesson. Right. Now we are going to know about the main physical features of the hilly country landscape of Sri Lanka. So you know them. What are the main physical features of the hilly area? Rivers there. valleys, waterfalls, mountains, plateaus, hills, gaps or passes, mountain ranges. No more plains, no bays, no harbors, no lagoons. Name idea? No points. Only the things you can see on the screen. Okay? They are the things. Rivers, waterfalls, mountain ranges, plateaus, hills, gaps, valleys are the examples. Name some famous plateaus in the hilly region. So I named some famous plateaus in Sri Lanka in the hilly region from that map. Hatton, Horton, everything. Valley Mother. I told you some names. Then you can write those names after looking the map of your textbook or watching this video again. Can you write? Okay, you can write. It is very easy. And to name some mountain ranges of the hilly region, we talked about them. About Haputale, Knuckles, Namunukala, Lunugala, Tolosbage. I told you, Vidrutalagala, Adams Peak means Samanalakanda. I told you about them. You can write. You can look at those things and you can write very well there. Right. Now you must write the name of the mountain with the height. This is a self-activity. Swayam Abhyasaya, a self-assessment. You must write the name of the mountain. First mountain. What is the first mountain? Pidurutalagal. You must write. What is the height? 2,524 meters. What is the second mountain? What the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth? You must write from first to last. Okay? From the biggest to the smallest. Descending order. No idea. From the biggest to the smallest. Descending order. So you must write the height with the name of the mountain. So I showed you those things from my lesson. You can write them yourself. That is self-activity. And then you have to name some waterfalls in the hilly region. So we named the waterfalls. This is a very easy lesson for you. So you can get so many marks for this lesson. Waterfalls. I told you the Dunginda, the Aluma, Lakshapana, Tivon, Baker's Falls. I told you number of names of the waterfalls. Mamarakanda, you can write. Okay, no need the height. Right, okay. So you are learning those special physical features, landscape features one by one now. Right? What is the gap? It's a very good question. And you have to give some examples of the names of gaps in the landscape of Sri Lanka. I showed you them. In the map, I showed you them. So, but I didn't tell the names. The gap is a path between two mountains. That is a pass. So we have to go through it between two mountains. There are very famous gaps in Sri Lanka. Balana is a very famous gap. Understand? You can write those names also. So you have to do them, my dear. When you do, you will learn. So I can write the names of the board. I can write the names on the board. But you have to write yourself. When you do, you will remember. That is the way of learning. Right, okay? Right. It is about the hilly region. The second one is about the landscape of the dry zone. Now I am going to talk about the dry zone. What is the dry zone? The places which have very hot temperature and low rainfall and high evaporation. High temperature, low rainfalls and high evaporation. They are called dry zone, dry areas. Can you remember the dry areas of Sri Lanka? The northern part, this part, it is called the dry area. The eastern part, dry area. Here, north central part, dry area. Here we can see the northwestern Puttalam dry area. Here we can see south eastern part, Hambantota, Kataragama, it is also dry area. Now, what are the dry areas for there? The northern province, Jaffna area. Eastern province, here southeastern province, Hambantota area. Here north central province, like Polonnaru, Anuradhapura. And here you can see northwestern province, Puttalam, Mana. So we have to talk about the dry area regarding this area. 2/3 of Sri Lanka, 2/3 of Sri Lanka belong to dry soil. Now you understood about the provinces which are located in the dry zone. You can remember. North or northern province, east or eastern province, south, west, southeastern or understand? Yes. Hambantota area. Here northwestern means Puttalam area. The north central Anuradhapura area. So I told you the province with the famous city of the area to understand about the things very well. Okay, my dear? Right. Now look at here. You can understand. This is the wet zone. Here you can see Hambantota, the eastern part, Batikalo, Ampara, Batikalo, Trincomalee, Jaffna. Here you can see Puttalam. My dear, here Anuradhapura. We can get all the places for the dry zone of Sri Lanka. Later we are going to learn about the main cities and towns of the dry zone, about the main rivers of the dry zone, about the main tanks and canals of the dry zone, Vavsa, Alamarg. Yes, these are the dry areas of Sri Lanka. Okay, the dry areas. Pute, what are the main features of the dry areas? I told you, high temperature, very hot, more than 27 degrees of Celsius, more than. Then high evaporation. The plants don't have big leaves. Why? Evaporation is very high. The plants have cactus, small leaves like patok, cactus, everything. Yes. Then less rainfalls, low, no more rains, poor rains, occasional rains. The other one is the severe droughts, long periods of without water. The animals, plants, and humans are suffering from thirst and hunger. No food, no crops, no flowers, no vegetables, no water, no rain. Tanks have dried, rivers have got dried. Very hard, very difficult. But that is Sri Lanka. Okay, they are the main features. Then put the plains. No more hills, no waterfalls, no more plateaus, there are no gaps, plains like a playground. Residual hills. There are some hills like Ritigala, Kataragama Hill, Siguriya. Understand? They are the hills which can be seen as residual hills. Meintale, residual hills. Ritigala is very famous. Sigiriya is very famous. Avasesha Kanu, residual hills. Seasonal rivers. Some rivers they don't have water during the dry season. They are called seasonal rivers. Why? They have water only during the rainy seasons. They have water only in the rainy seasons. In other seasons, no water. The rivers have become dry. They are called seasonal rivers. Then there are trees with very tall trunks. Grass, shrubs, thorny bushes, katupandurugas. Very hot and dry. That means arid climate like Mana, Puttalam, Hambantota, Kataragama, Anuradhapura. You can understand about that. Understand? Yes. Okay, I told you about the main features. We can see many tanks, water tanks, that means well, and canals. The canal, Winnipeg Canal, Alhar Canal, the man-made rivers and ridges, some rivers, Nebute and Baluganga, are seen everywhere in the dry zone. So I explained you very nicely about the main features of the dry zone. I showed you main areas of the dry zone. I talked about the trees of the dry zone, the leaves, the size of the leaves of the dry zone. Name the rivers which are located in the dry zone. You have to name all the rivers. Here, you can see the rivers here. Have they? These are the rivers. Palave River, you can get. Mahavali River, you can name. Kala Oya, Daduru Oya. You can name all the rivers, my dear. All the rivers which are located in this area belong to the dry zone. So let's write those rivers. You can do it as a special activity. You must write them. You have to write them and you have to write and mark. Third self-activity. Name all the rivers which are located in the dry zone and you have to mark them on a map of Sri Lanka at home. Okay. When you study, you must do the work yourself like this way. Okay? You have to do. Then, my dear children, I am going to show you the rivers of those areas. The rivers of those areas. They are very interesting and you can get a small understanding about the rivers of the dry zone. Here you can see number of rivers. Namely, Dadurupoya, Kalapoya, you can get Mahavali River, you can get them, right? Okay, so you can name them. These are very important for the knowledge of you. Then, my children, I am very happy to talk about the landscape of Sri Lanka. I talk only two parts. First one, the hilly region. Second one, the dry region. But we have to talk about the wet zone, about Jaffna, and about the coastal region, seaside. From next video, I hope to join you and meet you next video with the main three parts of the landscape of Sri Lanka. Then I hope to teach you so many things from that video and those images of the main features of the coastal region. Then, my children, I hope you enjoyed the lesson very much. I wish you all the best. Then bye. See you.